Hello, my friends. Where do we go from here? This is the question that I want to put forth is, where do we go from here? I have come on to Facebook and said, I'm going to quit my account. I'm going to close my account because nobody cares about positive things anymore. But then I'm always back posting something, trying to be positive. And then I'll say I'm closing my YouTube account. I'm not going to deal with the negativity anymore. There's too much negativity. But then I am posting another Facebook and another YouTube video. I'm not going to deny that some of the mistakes I've made in the past, or some of the things I've said in the past, I've changed my, opinions on within even an hour. And I think that that's what's made me happiest in life, is to be able to admit my mistakes. And once you stop trying to hide your mistakes, you don't have to worry about somebody saying, aha, you were wrong anymore. Because when you can say, yeah, I was wrong, it's only a matter of time till people just stop telling you you're wrong. When you can admit when you make mistakes, people aren't going to try to pick on you for your mistakes. And this is something that I've noticed over the years, because when somebody calls me out on something and I say, yeah, you're right, instantly the conversation ends then. If I try to prove myself as being right, I always end up being the asshole. And a lot of the times I am right, but it doesn't matter if I'm right or not, or if I can prove it or not. The point is that if the other person thinks they're right, is it worth the time to argue? Now, there's a major war going on between people and their own thoughts. And I think that sometimes their own thoughts are winning out over their reason. And, we're all bombarded by constant, bullshit every day. But we need to admit when something gets us really excited, and we tend to jump on the bandwagon. We all do it. It doesn't matter how well endowed you are with deep thought, or how philosophical you are, or how strong your belief in your theology is. It has to do with people being caught off guard in their emotional states and being fed. Like, say if you're in a room with here's a perfect example. My wife, at their restaurant, they had an issue where they had to throw away a whole bunch of food because of, a couple customers that may have got sick, and it had nothing to do with anybody who worked at the restaurant. It was just a couple tables of people that got sick, and so they had to clean the whole restaurant. They had to throw away thousands of dollars worth of frozen food that had been prepped. Even though it was frozen and ready to go for the week, or refrigerated, we're talking salmon, halibut, ribs. All the food was fine. Nobody got sick from any food. It was a norovirus that somebody got from one of the tables. But the health department made them throw the food away. So there's 10, 15 people in there cleaning out the freezers and throwing away all this food. Filled the dumpster up with all this food. She came home and told me about it. My first reaction was my gut dropped. I was heartbroken. I couldn't believe it. I was like, all that food could have gone, I would have bought a freezer just to store it, to give it to somebody, because I know the food is fine. When my wife realized the truth, she felt guilty too. She realized that. She's like, well, and she had been sucked into that group of 10, 15 people saying, well, it must be bad. The health department says throw it away. This is what happens to us in society. When we don't think for a minute, when we get into that group mentality, it's easy to be pushed around. We all do it. When you have 10 people telling you that this is the way it is, then you tend to say, well, this is the way it is. Even when it's not. And it's really hard for me to get past that sometimes too. But I have done it over the years. But, with the restaurant thing, we just wanted to go back and load up our car. Of course, the whole, it was probably a big mess inside the dumpster at that point. But she realized that if she'd thought about it and really processed it, she could have loaded up her car with all that frozen fish and stuff and had thousands of dollars worth of food. But the fact that everybody else was throwing it away just made you think in the back of your mind the food's bad. Now, when everybody in society tells you that something else is bad, think about how many times that you tend to fall into that rut too. You'll hear on one hand somebody saying philosophy is bad, or religion's bad, or not being religious is bad, or you're going to go to hell, or if you believe in a religion, you're never going to be fully happy, or if you don't believe in religion, you're not going to be fully happy. Stop believing what people tell you. Take a deep breath. Take 3 deep breaths. Sit and close your eyes for a minute. and ask yourself what you really want. Are you acting the part that you portray? Or are you simply walking, or I should say, are you walking the walk, or are you simply talking the talk? Because I know for a fact that I do a lot of talking, and it's harder for me to do the walking. But by talking, it helps me to instill a new truth within my mind of what I think is important. And over time, I can grow into that truth. The thing is to remind yourself each day that that truth is there, and it does exist. And no person can learn the universal truth of what life's about and all of a sudden just be like, aha, now I can go on with my life. This is a process. This is the reason why people who go to church, go every week to try to reinforce this belief system. You have to do that with anything you do. Even if you're an atheist, you have to reinforce your atheism. I mean, all ends of the spectrum, everybody has to go and practice what they preach. So that means that if you talk about being peaceful and meditating, you have to meditate. If you talk about what makes you happy, you have to go do those things. But there's no room anymore for these wars between people. And you're always going to be battling with your own ideas. And if we're battling with our own ideas to such an extent, imagine how hard it is to battle with someone else and their ideas. I mean, how many times have you been taken wrong for something you said or a comment you posted? And like, no, that got taken all out of context. It's just like, this is the world we live in. Text messaging. I don't text message anymore because it gets taken the wrong way. And you can't put italics in there. And, I don't have the time to sit there and type in quotations and crap and add abbreviations to try to explain where I'm coming from. I'd much rather just call somebody up. So, with that said, my point being that, in the back of our minds, we all have these little nagging things that we know we need to take care of, and we need to continue to follow our own guidance and to listen to others and respect others. But don't be afraid to make a mistake. When you fuck up and you say, hey, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, if you realize later that you don't need to do that, then don't do it. If you get angry in a moment of passion and you say, well, I'm quitting this forever, and later you decide not to, that's okay. We have emotions. That's what we are. We're human. And that's the beauty of life. There must be turmoil to bring happiness, and happiness to bring turmoil, and it's a cycle that we all live in. So just a few words of thought. Sit like this for a year. I don't have the patience. I am way too high strung to sit still. I can barely meditate for 30 minutes. Anyway, much love to everybody, and I hope you find what you're looking for, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.